Cindy, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mukali. Thank you for having me. It's, as you were saying earlier, you're like, the first Kenyan woman-owned feminine hygiene.
Yeah.
But isn't that kind of crazy? Because people have been menstruating forever.
Ever. I know.
Right?
And what were we using?
Well, do we want to get into
that?
that?
No.
It's just interesting that, we are in a time where this is now possible. And, it's a shame that that's not been in the past, because when you really think about it, when people are removed from the products, when the person that's making decisions on your products is so far away, then of course they're not going to choose the best product for you, because why would they?
And I will not be looking out for that, because I am also thinking it's being used elsewhere. It must be okay, but I don't question. And we had demonstrations, I think, last year, but one. But I don't know what was done about it. I think there was a PR campaign that happened after that. But then we know where to get you. So if you just joined in the conversation, I think we just went ahead of ourselves.
Yes, we did.
Kindly introduce yourself and the company that we're talking about today.
Awesome. My name is Cindy Arunga Tambwe Kalala, and I am co-founder and CEO of Vaji. I also am a lover of women. I believe so much in women, and anything women's health, anything that puts women forward, you'll find me there.
Okay, great. And we have just the product here. So, oh, goodness. It's called Vaji. Why Vaji? Okay.
Should I have you take a wild guess? Well, we for a long time, just reproductive health has been a really taboo topic.
Yes.
And so we wanted to do our part in making sure that, the vagina, anything just women, is no longer this taboo thing, because the tabooness leads to it being harmful. And so what we wanted to do was to say, you know what? We're here for your vagina, so Vaji is a play on vagina.
Okay,
yes.
Okay, now I get it.
Yes.
Now I get it. But this wasn't what you were originally doing.
No.
You shifted careers.
I did. It's just interesting, because I've had a long path, and I started my career in quality assurance. And so in some ways, this actually ties into some of the things that I was doing. I did a lot of stuff when it comes to, I received actually accolades in, just quality improvement as a whole. And because of that, when I came to Kenya 3 years ago. So I lived out of the country. Maybe let me start with a little bit of a background.
Okay.
So I was born and raised here. And I went to school at Precious Blood and graduated Precious Blood PB, Ruruta, shout out to anybody. But I graduated from there, and then I was awarded a scholarship, a Zawadi Africa scholarship, and I went to the States for my college. When I went there, I graduated in public health, which again, that kind of ties back to this has always been a very big interest of mine. So I graduated in public health and economics, and then I got married, had my children, and then I went back to school to get my MBA. In that time while I was out of the country, I would travel back and forth quite a bit because my family is here.
Yes.
And about 3 years ago, I came with my then 1-year-old. And we were here for a little bit over a month, and so I had to use some feminine hygiene products. And what was available to me was stuff that I'd seen on the shelves in the States like years and years prior, and was no longer even allowed to be on the shelf.
No way.
Yeah. And so for me to use it and then, break out into this rash, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so familiar. This used to happen to me in high school, but I never really connected it to the product that I was using. But now this time, having used different product, I knew exactly what it was.
Okay.
And so then, because I've got a curious mind, and also with my quality assurance background, I just wanted to understand why the product was the way it was. So I started off that way, just passion project, trying to determine what was causing these things. And so started looking into it, and Mukali, when I tell you, the more I found out, the more I was like, ugh, someone's got to do something about this.
Okay.
And then it just kind of evolved from someone's got to do something to, okay, I've got to do something about this. And then it evolved into, well, now we've got Vaji, and here's the something I'm doing about it.
Okay.
And, we just decided that we were going to go all out when it came to the quality of the products, because, there's this perception that, in Africa, unfortunately, we tend to get the leftovers of the world, the things that they don't want anymore, the things that they outlawed, but then they want to keep selling. They don't want to make a loss on it. So they'll send it over here for us. And because we have no options, we'll keep buying.
Okay.
And so, we said, no, we're not going to do that, because when you really think about it, Africa has a very young population. So you're thinking about majority of the population being under 20 years old, which means you have a very long life when it comes to the products you're going to be using.
Yeah.
And what does that mean for, a lot of these multinational corporations that are bringing products here? That's great. I mean, it's great money in their pocket. But if we're putting money in their pockets, but yet they're not choosing to give us the best, even though
it is not what we deserve.
No, it's not what we deserve, especially because we're putting that money in their pocket. They're doing better in other places, right? And so it's not a matter of not knowing better. They know better. They're just choosing not to do better. And so for us to continually put that money in their pocket too, we also have to ask ourselves and recognize the power that we have.
Okay.
Because as the people who are putting this money in their pocket, who are ensuring that their companies continue to be successful, what does that mean? Because if we choose not to put it in their pocket, if we choose to invest in people that are actually investing in us, then what does that look like in 10, 20 years when now the 20-year-olds are 40 years old and, hopefully they've chosen better products, they've chosen a better experience, and they don't have to deal with some of the health effects that come from using substandard products.
That goes in line with what I read on your website, where you do not just get what is there, but you get what is good for you. How was the process of, creating, manufacturing, processing, and making it available? I have to say, it looks really nice.
Oh, thank you.
The packaging is beautiful.
I mean, this is 3 years in the making. So for us to be here, we didn't just wake up and say, oh, hey, here's a product. Because if we did, then it probably wouldn't look or feel as it does. We've gotten a lot of people that have talked about their experience, and we keep hearing a few things. And, of those, one of the things that we hear is, oh, it feels just like wearing my underwear. Like I'm even forgetting I'm on my period and having to remind myself to go change my pad.
Okay.
Which is unheard of in a place where we're used to itches and burns and, wetness, and that's the norm of the period, And so that process of really from the R&D, because R&D is its own beast before you ever see a product.
Yeah.
Trying to determine what's good, what's not, what should we do, what's for the environment that we're going into, what do the people that we're going to serve value, what do they need? That's a whole process. So 3 years in, I've been to places. Let me tell you, when I'm in my high heels, okay, and I'm getting into these random places, and there's a lot of men. It's very male dominant, right? And so I'm getting into these places in my high heels and my dress, and there's all these men who are constantly looking at me like, what are you doing here? And it's been kind of it's an uphill climb, because then you walk in and they assume you don't know what you're doing, right? And I'm telling them, I want these specifications, and then they have this moment of, so you know what you're talking about, and I'm like, yes, I do, and you're going to do it,
Yeah.
And so it's been a very interesting process. It's not an easy thing to do. But again, easy is not what we were going for. If we were, we would have put in, whatever else is already in the market as well.
That is so true. Were you able to do it here, or did you have to do it out of the country?
So, with just the way the world is and the way the world is connected these days, we have a global supply chain.
Okay.
And the reason that we did that was because we wanted to ensure that we had the best that technology has to offer for us to put in our product. And I think that speaks for itself when you look at the reviews that have been shared so far by the people who, have trusted us, have given us a chance to serve them. I mean, it speaks for itself. And parts of this are locally produced. So we've got a combination of things. So whether it comes from, the Americas, Asia, here in Africa, and we just kind of did a combination to ensure we had the absolute best.
Okay. We're going to take a very short commercial break, but we're going to be continuing with this conversation when we come back with Cindy. Please send in all your questions, any questions you have whatsoever about Vagi, and we'll find out how much it costs as well. Is it being stocked? Where can we find it? All of that after this break. Don't go too far. Welcome back to Full Circle. We have Cindy in the building. We're talking about Vagi, which is the very first Kenyan woman-owned female hygiene product put together. It's beautiful. It is ours, guys. It's ours. Made by a woman for us women, and I'm super excited to host you today and to have this conversation with you. But apart from this, we're coming from an age where menstruation conversation was hush, like it was a taboo to have it, and that we can be on live TV in the morning and just talk about it and stop the shaming. Or period shaming, rather. I think it's a huge deal, and you're huge about that as well.
Yes, and I think you see that a lot on our social handles. That's Vagi Life, VAAJI Life, and vagilife.com. And we have been very deliberate about the imagery that we use, because we come from a place where we believe that the shame has come for a reason, right? All this shame around reproductive health, around the vagina, has come for a reason, because nobody's born ashamed. It's instilled into you at some point, to a point where by the time girls are having their period at 10 these days now, 10 what used to be 13, 14. And by the time girls are having their periods, they're even hiding it from their moms because they're so embarrassed and they feel like they're doing something wrong, right? And so we decided that we were going to do the absolute opposite of that, because how do you change it, right? You have to, if it's all the way over here, you got to hit it from all the way over here, and then you get to a middle ground. And so that's what we decided to do, because it has to change. And, for a lot of girls, our lives are dependent on it changing. I don't know if you remember that story. It was about a year and a half ago. It was a girl who committed suicide because she started her period, and she got up and she had stained her dress, her uniform, and the teacher made fun of her. Right here in Kenya.
No.
Yeah, and she went home and she committed suicide. And so when I say our lives are dependent on it,
quite literally.
It is so literally.
Yeah.
That our lives are dependent on us doing right by women. Because when you think about menstruation, when you think about periods, it's the very essence of life.
It is.
It is. Everyone around here is walking around because a woman had a period. And so for us to not honor the period, for us to not hold it in a place of respect, is a shame. For us to be embarrassing girls to the point where they're committing suicide.
That is wrong.
For something that's supposed to give life. Do you see the irony there?
It's so wrong. And it's so sad that it went on for such a long time.
So sad. But we have an opportunity to do better.
Yes.
We know better now. We've seen the results of this period shaming.
Yeah.
And we can change. We can turn this thing around, and we can hold women in the power that they hold during menstruation. And we can really, hold it in honor.
And it's not just a conversation around women. Even the men need to be part of this conversation, because it must have been a male teacher who did that. Unfortunately. But these conversations have now cut across. It's not just the women who are talking about this. It is also involving men in this conversation, involving dads in this conversation, that you are comfortable as a daughter to have this conversation with your dad in the same household, that if you're a single dad, it wouldn't be a hard conversation to have.
Yes, it's very necessary. And, some of what we have done, too, is trying to enable those conversations to happen, creating spaces for those conversations to happen. So next month, we'll be launching our app. Ooh. And, it's a very, very geared towards creating a space for women to ask questions, to learn about their personal health in a very intimate way, because knowledge is power.
That is so true.
And there's a lot of us that walk out the door not knowing what's going on inside, when really, it's a scientific process. And so as you're walking out, if today you notice your skin's a little sensitive, it's happening for a reason, right? And so we're arming women with that knowledge and saying, you walk out the door knowing exactly what's happening, because nobody's going to tell you, oh, you're just PMSing. You can tell them, no, I'm not actually,
Yeah.
And so it's very, Vagi, our stance is really a bold stance. And we're saying, hey, we're women, we're here to take space. We know the space that's ours, and that's no longer going to be taken from us.
Are we going to have, is it going to, the app, will we have like a period tracker in there as well?
Oh, girl.
I'm
Just
asking
wait.
for me.
Just
I'm
wait.
asking for me. You know,
Yes.
like we have those crazy, we know what date it is this month and next month. We're just
Yes.
like, what's happening? I'm not so sure.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. A period tracker is a part of the app, but that is just one
One
part
part
of
of
what
it.
it offers. I don't want to be the spoiler. I would love for you all to check it out.
Okay.
We'll be doing the announcement. Check out our socials of Vaji Life and then vagilife.com for our website.
Okay.
That's where you'll see the updates. But once we do release it, it will be free. And that was very important to us because we believe that every single woman should have access to that information. So we didn't want to charge anybody for that, you know. And so that's going to be available on Apple and Google Store.
Okay.
And it'll be free for your use. And I can't wait to hear what everybody thinks about it, and you know, to see the conversations happening, because we've got, you know, we went through a very rigorous process of ensuring that the value we're providing was top notch.
Okay.
I mean, as you can probably tell.
I can. So I see here daytime pads, soft cotton with antibacterial anion strip.
Yes.
So does that mean that we're going to have the night ones as well? Or what does this mean? Is this what sets it apart from what is exactly what we've been using?
So
before?
here, this is a nighttime one. So you're holding
Oh,
a daytime.
this is the daytime one.
Yes.
Oh, the colors are different.
Colors are different.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
Yes.
Cool. This is the nighttime one.
Yeah, so the nighttime one is longer and wider, and
Mm-hmm.
it also has extra absorption because we want to make sure that you're getting a good night's rest.
Okay.
Especially, you know, it's already hard enough during that time of the month. We don't want to make it harder. We want to ensure that you're sleeping well, you wake up and you're rejuvenated, and as you're going through some of the things that you go through during the day, at least you had a good night's rest. So we've got the daytime and the nighttime.
Okay.
And they're soft cotton, and you know, you could check out our reviews. That'll tell you what people are saying about their experience sitting in Vaji, because you know, you have to remember your period happens for 4 to 7 days each month. And so for 4 to 7 days, 24 hours a day, you're sitting in a product, right? And so if you think about the fact that that product is filled with dyes and chemicals, right?
Yeah.
24 hours a day for 4 to 7 days. You are what you eat, and you are what you expose yourself to.
Okay.
If you're exposing yourself to these chemicals and they're getting into this deposit in a very intimate part of your body, what does that look like? In the short term, we're hearing about itches and burns,
Yeah.
right?
What about the long term?
What about the long term?
Yeah.
Because, you know, I've heard people say, oh, you know, we don't want to spend too much money on our menstrual hygiene. Well, think about the long term. Will you spend that money in medical bills? Because in your 20s, yes, it might be just an itch, right? And you get over it in maybe 2 to 3 days. But what happens when you're 35,
Okay.
right? And so we have to start thinking about what we're exposing ourselves and future generations to. And especially when you are putting money in somebody's pocket to give you that product, they owe it to you to, one, tell you what's in the product, but two, as the person that's doing that, that's putting money in their pocket, you have the power to determine where you put that money. You have the power to determine who's going to be the person that you invest in, because they need to be investing in you.
That is
so
so
when
true.
if they're giving you chemicals and dyes and you're okay with that, then I mean, that's, you know, that is what it is.
It sucks.
But you at least need to know that that is what you're choosing.
Okay.
And I think that there's a lot of you know, lack of understanding as to, you know, we say we've got itches and burns, but we don't understand why we're having those things, right? And so if that's coming from chemicals, that's coming from dyes and fragrances, then if you're going to choose that, then you know that. But if you know better, you should choose better, because it's going to catch up.
These are the Vaji pads. Are we going to be seeing Vaji tampon?
We do have Vaji tampons coming up next
Awesome.
month.
Okay.
They'll be available for delivery next month. Currently, you can purchase our product either on our website, vagilife.com, or you can purchase via our Instagram store, our WhatsApp store, and all that information is both on our website and on our social media handles. Very soon here, we will be sharing where else you can see us, but I'm not gonna spoil that one. Give us a few days and we'll share that with you. But you will start seeing us in some other places that are much closer to you.
Okay.
We do love to provide these to you, and we deliver to your doorstep, because again, it's already a hard enough time of the month. We want to make it easy for you. We want to make it beautiful for you, because why not? You know, this is the source of life.
Okay.
Why not make it beautiful? Why not feel like a goddess? Why not remember that you could choose to give life?
Do you want to be president?
Oh,
Cindy? I'm like, yes, you have my vote as a
my
woman. So
goodness.
what will make it different? We've explained, or we've talked about really about the pads.
Yes.
But what will make the tampons different from what we already have in the market? What will make Vagi stand out from the rest?
So in the very same way that we've had people come back after using these, and you know, they said, oh, it feels like just wearing cotton underwear. I'm forgetting to change because I'm so comfortable, you know. And all the things have been really, really good. In the very same way, we're using organic cotton in the tampons. And the organic cotton difference, you feel the minute you wear it, you feel it. And you know what? I think maybe we should open one of these so you can touch and feel. And you tell me, before you even sit in it and wear it,
Okay.
you tell me what you think about cotton.
Let's just do it. Let's do it. It's a good thing a woman is doing this, because we'd know the difference.
You would know the difference.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Yes. I don't have to say anything else,
No,
right?
no.
So I've had people who've asked me, so what is the Vagi difference? And I say, you know what?
Just open it.
Just open it, and then when you wear it, I mean, if your hands, touch and feel, those are the first senses that you have to, to experience. But once you wear it, then, I mean, you can tell the difference instantly.
Okay.
And so it's, it's just, again, thinking about, there's an experiment that we do, and take a tampon, for the tampon users, take a tampon that's, not organic cotton, and take a tampon that is organic cotton. Vagi, we've got you, vagilife.com. But take one that is organic cotton, and fill the glass with water, and then dip the 2 tampons in water at the same time. Don't even give them a long time, just 5 minutes, okay? And then come back and look at the water in both of those glasses. What you'll notice is that the one that is usually, it's made out of viscose, the ones that are not organic cotton, you're going to see the synthetic fibers all around the water, and the water gets cloudy. Organic cotton doesn't do that, because cotton actually absorbs up to 27 times its own weight. And so it doesn't disintegrate the minute it's exposed to, your liquids, right?
Yeah.
It absorbs and absorbs and absorbs. And you'll actually find that if you want to leave them in for, a few more weeks, even up to a week, you will find that the organic cotton still does not disintegrate. And so the organic cotton difference is that when you're using this product, one, it's a natural fiber. So even if it does stay in you, it is something that is natural.
Okay.
But two, if you're thinking about a synthetic fiber, and it already has dyes and fragrances and chemicals, and that's disintegrating, and that's one tampon we did an experiment with, right?
Yeah.
And so that's disintegrating in your body.
Yes.
Okay, how many tampons are you wearing in one cycle? So if each one is leaving that amount of residue in your body, what
The
does that
visuals, my
think about
goodness.
a lifetime.
Yeah.
A lifetime worth of that. What does that mean? Because, we're starting to see a rise in many things that, just health issues and, infertility and all these things that are happening. And, we're not asking why. Asking why is so important.
Yes.
Like that's my son is now 3, and he asks why all the time. And so I have to bite myself. I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have done this. Because I always encourage people, ask why. Because when you ask why, you get to understand the root of things.
Okay.
Why do we have why are these skyrocketing? Why are we seeing these rates of, I mean, everybody knows, in Kenya, I feel like everybody knows somebody very closely who's dealing with major fibroids, right?
Yeah.
Okay, why? Because that's an anomaly. It's not something that's supposed to be so widespread. Yes, it's normal for it to be, a part of the community, but it's not normal to have so many people have intense fibroids. So let's ask why. Let's do our research. Let's find out what feeds fibroids.
Okay.
How do they grow? And I don't want to answer that for you, because I really want you to take the time to do your research. What feeds them? And is that something that you're exposing yourself to in some of your products? Do your research.
Okay.
I won't answer it for you, because You know, if it comes from me, then it's a
Yeah, they'll be like, Vaji said.
Vaji said, no, Vaji didn't say. Vaji just empowered you to ask why and to do your homework.
Okay. How much do they cost?
So the daytime pads goes for $4.49, and so that's this one. It goes for $4.49. We've got 12 in the pack, and then the nighttime pad goes for $4.99, and we've also got 12 in the pack. What we have heard a few people say is that they're finding themselves using much less product than they typically would because our absorption is very high. But not only that, they're also finding their flow feel a little bit different. You know, obviously when you are using natural versus synthetic, you're going to see differences there. And so, yeah, we're finding that most people are saying that just one day and one night works fantastic for their flow. And we, you know, we're loving that. We're loving hearing the feedback. Okay. But we also, you know, kind of want to, you know, if I could do a personal video for a quick minute.
This is the camera.
Yes, but you know, I think that a lot of the times we forget that when people are so detached from us, they have absolutely no reason, no connection for them to choose better for us. And so when somebody is doing something that, you know, affects their sister, affects their mother, affects their daughter, it's a very different feel, you know, and my team knows this because they all have a joke about me being very intense. But I've been so intentional about saying, if my daughter cannot use this product, I don't want to put it out. I don't want to put it out. And so what I would put out to you is think about where you're choosing to invest, because when you're buying a product, you're investing in that company. Is that company investing in you? Because you have the power to decide where you put your shillings, right? Yeah. And if that company is not investing in you, and you know, a man in Atlanta, Georgia is making the decision on your product here in Kenya, then think twice, because that man in Atlanta, Georgia could know the effects that the products that he's allowing or having on you, but he has no reason to care because he doesn't know you. He doesn't know anybody that looks like you. So we have to remember that we have that power to change things. And, you know, especially with a young generation of Africans coming up, you know, our average age in Africa is 20. That's a long life of consuming.
That is so true.
It's a very long life of consuming.
So we need to choose.
We need to choose.
And to choose right.
You know,
and to ask the questions.
Ask the questions. And there's this rush right now of a lot of multinational corporations coming into Africa because they're seeing that the consumer base is here. Okay? What are we going to allow? Are we going to allow them to just give us the leftovers, you know, from the West and the East and bring them here? We determine that, and we determine it by choosing where we put our money.
Absolutely. As we come to the end of this conversation, Cindy, do you think Vaji has fulfilled the vision for you, the vision that you had for this company? Would you say that you've accomplished, or do we have so many more things to get
You know, it's a long answer, because in many ways we have accomplished our vision when it comes to, you know, the way that women are feeling when they interact with our products, when they interact. I mean, I've gotten so many comments on our website. I've gotten so many comments on our social presence, because we've been very intentional about what we put out to the world, and, you know, making sure that people are seeing themselves and seeing authentic representations of what it looks like to be a menstruating woman. But we've gotten so many comments on that. You know, our ads, if you've seen them in your feed, we're saying, hey, it's a girl in a pad, and we're not hiding the pad, because what's that blue dot that people, you know, what's menstruation? Like, no blue dots. It's the real thing, okay? Okay. And so in that way, yes, we have accomplished our vision, but we have so much more to do, and we want you to stay tuned. We will be here for it. How can people get in touch? Where can people find you and find Vaji as well? Vaji Life is our handle on social media. Instagram is extremely active, so that will be at Vaji Life, so VAAJI Life. And then our website is vajilife.com, so VAAJIlife.com, and you'll see all of the representations of, you know, what we do and what we care about and why we're here for you on there. You can order both on our website or on our Instagram or on our WhatsApp shop. Soon you will be able to buy us elsewhere, which we'll tell you soon. Okay. We'll tell you soon. But those are the different ways that you can get in touch. If you have any questions, we want you to ask. We want you to ask, because we owe it to you to answer your questions. Absolutely. Cindy, thank you so much for coming through. Thank you for having me, Mwikali. This is
It's
awesome.
been beautiful. I hope you've learned and you will ask the right questions. Like the question of where you need to go to college, because I'm here to tell you that KIPS Technical College is one of the largest NEC examination centers in Kenya. It's a premier tertiary institution established and mandated to operate by TVET authority. So when it comes to studying technical courses, no one beats KIPS College. So they offer high quality technical and professional training to all who aspire to acquire and improve, their skills that are relevant to the job market, skills that are relevant to entrepreneurship. KIPS have the ultra modern learning facilities. They are highly qualified and experienced lecturers, attachment liaison office, and counseling office. All of this make KIPS your preferred choice. Now, July intake is ongoing for full-time evening and online classes. So all you need to do is apply today and study with the best. And for more information, you can visit their campuses. That is at Afia Center Campus, Philadelphia, on Philadelphia Building, and Thika Road Campus, that is on Mirema, Roysambu, and Greenspan Campus at Greenspan Mall. You can also call them 0799031490. KIPS Technical College, your sure path to success. Well, taking a very short commercial break. We'll be right back. Don't go too far.